Since the dawn of storytelling, monsters have haunted the human imagination. The unicorn with its mysterious horn, the eerie roar echoing from the depths of the ocean, the half-man, half-bull beast wandering the labyrinth, and the strange jungle creatures described by Amazonian tribes. For centuries, we believed these were nothing more than legends. But science has unearthed giant skeletons and fossils millions of years old, revealing that many of these myths are actually rooted in reality. In this video, we'll count down the top 5 mythical creatures that had a real-world counterpart. And be warned, sometimes the truth is even more terrifying than the legend. Unicorn and Elasmotherium. Was the unicorn real? In mythology, the unicorn is a majestic white horse with a single horn on its forehead, a symbol of purity and grace. In Asia, it was known as the one-horned beast, a divine omen said to appear only during the reign of a wise and just ruler. But science has revealed that in the real world there once lived Elasmotherium sibiricum, a giant one-horned rhinoceros that roamed Eastern Europe and Central Asia, going extinct only around 29 billion years ago. It stood up to 2 meters tall, stretched 5 meters long, and weighed nearly 4 tons. On its forehead grew a massive bony ridge that supported a keratin horn up to 2 meters long. This means that prehistoric humans could very well have seen it with their own eyes. Imagine a hunter of the Ice Age witnessing a colossal beast thundering across the steppe, its enormous horn jutting forward like a spear. That image would burn itself into memory, passed down from generation to generation, eventually transforming into the legend of the unicorn. By the time the tale reached medieval Europe, the terrifying giant was reimagined as a graceful white horse, pure and magical. The astonishing part is that Elasmotherium lived so recently in evolutionary history, close enough for its memory to be etched into human culture. So the question remains, was the unicorn merely a fairy tale, or a fading memory of a beast that truly walked the earth? The Bloop Leedsichthys, the roar from the deep ocean. In 1997, American scientists recorded a mysterious ultra-low sound in the South Pacific that traveled thousands of kilometers through the water. It was far too loud to be produced by any whale. The internet soon gave it a name, the Bloop. Many believed it was the roar of some enormous creature hidden in the ocean depths. Later, the official explanation claimed the sound came from cracking ice in Antarctica. But that answer did little to erase the unease. After all, the oceans once held a true giant, Leedsichthys problematicus. This Jurassic fish grew up to 16 meters long. Weighing tens of tons, its jaws held nearly 400 filtering plates, designed to sieve plankton from the water. It remains the largest filter-feeding fish ever known. Imagine standing on the deck of a ship in the stillness of the open sea. Suddenly, from the abyss below, a deep, rumbling roar echoes upward like the warning of a colossal being no human has ever laid eyes on. That is the terror of the Bloop. And who's to say that, in the pitch-black waters, barometers below, the descendants of ancient leviathans aren't still lurking? Science tells us it was just ice, but human imagination is never satisfied. And in a world where Leedsichthys once truly swam, who can say for certain that the Bloop wasn't a call from something still alive in the deep? Dragon and Quetzalcoatlus, the monster of sky and legend. In Western culture, the dragon is often imagined as a ferocious beast, hoarding treasures in caves and hunted by brave knights. In the East, especially in China, the dragon is revered as sacred, a symbol of strength, prosperity, and imperial power. Ancient legends even claim that over 2,000 years ago, a dragon soared across the skies of China, and in its wake, people began constructing the Great Wall to follow the path of the dragon. Science, of course, has long regarded dragons as pure myth, but fossils reveal a creature that could easily have inspired such stories. Quetzalcoatlus. This enormous pterosaur lived around 70 million years ago, at the end of the Cretaceous period. with a wingspan stretching up to 12 meters, comparable to a small airplane. It was the largest flying animal to have ever lived. Its towering neck, dagger-like beak, and bat-like wings would have made it appear like a demon silhouetted against the sky. Scientists believe that Quetzalcoatlus was not simply a scavenger, but a formidable hunter. It may have preyed on small dinosaurs, swooping down to snatch them from the ground. And some even suggest it was powerful enough to lift creatures the size of a human before taking flight. Now imagine our distant ancestors looking up to see a shadow the size of a house gliding silently above them, its colossal wings blotting out the sun. To witness such a terrifying spectacle, is it any wonder they told stories of dragons? The only difference, perhaps, is that Quetzalcoatlus could not breathe fire. But beyond that small detail, this monstrous pterosaur was every bit as awe-inspiring and terrifying as the dragons of legend. Minotaur and Bison Latifrons, the beast of labyrinth and thunder. In Greek mythology, the Minotaur was a terrifying creature, half man and half bull, condemned to live inside a vast labyrinth. It devoured anyone who wandered too close. To the Greeks, it symbolized savagery and raw, uncontrollable power. Astonishingly, the real world once had its own bull monster, Bison Latifrons, the giant bison of North America. This Ice Age titan roamed the plains more than 200 years ago. Standing over 1 meter tall at the shoulder and stretching 6 meters long, it was the size of a modern SUV. But its most striking feature was its horns. Each horn extended outward so far that the distance from tip to tip could reach nearly 3 meters, wide enough to span an entire small car. For the Native American tribes who lived millennia later, legends of such beasts persisted. They called them thunder beasts. According to oral tradition, when these massive animals walked, the ground trembled like rolling thunder. It's easy to see why, with their enormous bulk and sweeping horns, even the fiercest Ice Age predators such as dire wolves and American lions would have thought twice before attacking. Sadly, Bison Latifrons disappeared around the end of the last Ice Age, a victim of both climate change and human hunting. Yet the memory of such creatures, larger and stronger than anything alive today, left an indelible mark on human imagination. The Greeks envisioned a half-man, half-bull monster prowling in a labyrinth, while Native Americans remembered colossal horned beasts shaking the earth with each step. Two cultures, oceans apart, yet both haunted by the same image. A powerful bull-like monster, part myth, part reality. Even though Bison Latifrons no longer roams the plains, the legend of horned giants lives on in the story of the Minotaur and in the ancient songs of the thunder beasts. Mapinguari Megatherium, the monster of the Amazon jungle. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, tribes tell stories of a terrifying beast known as the Mapinguari. Descriptions painted as enormous, covered head to toe in shaggy fur, with a single glaring eye and, strangest of all, a mouth on its stomach. The creature is said to let out horrific screams, and its foul stench is so overpowering that anyone who comes too close faints on the spot. According to legend, the Mapinguari wanders the jungle, ripping apart anyone unfortunate enough to cross its path. It sounds like nothing more than a folktale meant to frighten children. But science suggests there may be a chilling truth behind the myth. Megatherium, the giant ground sloth that lived in South America until only about 10 years ago. Megatherium was a true Ice Age titan, standing up to 6 meters tall when reared on its hind legs and weighing as much as 4 tons. It was the size of a modern elephant. Its massive, curved claws were strong enough to tear branches from trees and powerful enough to fend off apex predators like saber-toothed cats. To early humans, stumbling across such a beast in the dense forest, towering above them and covered in thick hair, must have felt like facing a nightmare come alive. And here's the most unsettling part. Some Amazonian tribes today still insist they have seen the Mapinguari with their own eyes. They describe enormous, foul-smelling creatures lumbering through the jungle, eerily similar to what we know of Megatherium. If their stories are true, could it mean that a few survivors of this prehistoric species have managed to cling to life, hidden deep within the vast Amazon? Whether myth or reality, the legend of the Mapinguari blurs the line between folklore and science, reminding us that not all monsters are born from imagination. Some may be echoes of creatures that truly walk the earth. Here's the polished English version of your conclusion, CTA in the same narration style. From the unicorn Elasmotherium to the roar of the Bloop, the treasure-guarding griffin, the Minotaur thunderbeast, and the Amazonian Mapinguari, each legend carries a shadow of truth from the real world. Some creatures have gone extinct. Others exist only as fossils. But together they prove one thing: myths are often born from reality. So, among these five, which creature do you think is the most terrifying? And do you believe that some mythical monsters might still be alive out there, hidden beyond our sight? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so I can bring you more thrilling stories where myth meets science.